Hey everyone, Rich Gasaway here with another reminder about the Situational Awareness Matters Online Academy. The Academy is fully operational now and accepting student enrollment, and this is a really exciting thing for me. We have almost 600 students enrolled in the Academy, and we've already had a dozen students graduate. And in case you're wondering if graduation means just paying your money and clicking through a bunch of screens to the end, yeah, I'm sorry, that's not how the Situational Awareness Matters Online Academy works. You see, when I put my name on something, like an Academy graduate certificate, it means you've committed yourself to learning the content. And a commitment it is. There are 14 courses, and you have to demonstrate that you've learned the content by passing 14 exams with a score of at least 70 or greater. Of course, if you're not concerned about having a graduate certificate, then you don't have to worry about passing the exams. But honestly, this is probably not the Academy for you if you're not genuinely interested in taking your understanding of situational awareness and high-risk decision-making to a higher level. But if you are interested, come along for the ride, and I guarantee you'll learn some new things that you've never been taught, unless, of course, you've attended one of my 3-day training events. The premium enrolled students got a real treat last week. We had on as our live webinar guest Dave Dotson, the founder of the Art of Reading Smoke program, and Dave shared some outstanding tips for how to incorporate smoke reading into your size up, and he made the great connection between reading smoke and situational awareness. Thank you, Dave, for the gift of your time, and thank you to the premium enrolled students who attended. There were more than 100 of you on the webinar, and I enjoyed the opportunity of having some live discussions with you and answering your questions. If you're interested in learning more about the SA Matters Online Academy, visit samatters.com and click the green button on the right side of the homepage labeled Online Academy. Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com.
This is Battalion Chief Ryan Pyle from the Shawnee Fire Department, and you are listening to the SA Matters radio show with Dr. Rich Gasaway. The SA Matters mission is simple. They want to help us see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes.
Hello, and welcome to episode 150 of the Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence environments. The SA Matters mission is simple: to help you see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes. I mentioned in a previous episode that we are closing in on the 200,000th download of this podcast show. In the words of Harry Carey, holy cow, I'm completely blown away. This is huge. When I launched this podcast in 2014, I had seriously doubts if anyone would even subscribe and listen to what I had to share. I guess that concern can be set aside now. And are you ready for this? This show is now the single longest consecutive running first responder focused podcast show on the internet. Oh my God. How cool is that? And get this, in the month of February, just the month of February, we had more than 20,000 downloads in a single month. 20,000. Oh my God. I can't believe that. If you haven't subscribed to the show, go to iTunes or Stitcher Radio and search SA Matters Radio. SA Matters Radio. And there's also a link to the podcast page on the SA Matters website as well if you want to listen to it there. If you like the podcast, go to iTunes or Stitcher Radio and give it a rating and write a review. That would mean so much to me. Thank you for that. And can you help me spread the word about the podcast? Even though I'm super excited about the show's success, I had a real humbling experience lately. I was doing a live event and had over 200 first responders in the room. And I was talking about some lessons that were shared on some podcast episodes, and I polled the audience to see how many of them ever listened to an episode of the radio show. And like 3 hands went up. 3, like out of 200. So just when I think I'm a really big deal, I get slapped back into the reality that I have a lot of work to do in order to get this show into the ears of more first responders. The only way I'm going to be able to do that is by word of mouth and social media. And that means I need your help. Yeah, you listening right now. Yeah. You on the treadmill. Yeah, I need your help. You driving your car to work, start your shift. I need your help. You, the one heading home from shift. I need your help. And you, the one right there walking your dog. I need your help. Even if you're listening to this podcast when you go to bed because you can't sleep, even you, yeah, I need your help. And if you're already asleep, wake up, and share this with someone you know as a way of showing your appreciation, and I would appreciate that. I'm also looking for some additional sponsors for the show. Now that we have the longest consecutive running first responder focused podcast show on the internet, with more than 200,000 downloads, there should be some company out there that wants to get their message into the ears of this show's listeners. If that's you, or if you know a company that's looking to expand their reach, ask them to contact me through the SA Matters website Contact Us link. While I'm on the topic of sponsors, I have to throw a little love out. No, a lot of love out for my podcast sponsor, Midwest Fire, who, by the way, has been with us for almost 3 years, almost from the beginning. It must be working for him, right? I guess it did. Thanks, Midwest Fire, for investing in my message and for your absolutely amazing fire apparatus that you build to protect my listeners. Okay, if you can think of an additional podcast sponsor whose product and service would be valuable to our community, ask them to contact me. We're closing in on another incredible milestone, too, and I'm so excited. I'm almost shaking. In just 6 more episodes, we will be at episode 156, and that will mark the 3-year anniversary of this podcast show. I've released a new episode every Tuesday, and I mean every Tuesday, without fail, for 3 consecutive years. There's no other first responder focused podcast that has done that for you. And while I'm very proud of that, I'll give all the credit to you, the listener. If you wouldn't listen, we wouldn't have a show. It's really that simple. I've been sharing the message of situational awareness with first responders for 12 years now. I'm here for the long run. And for so long as I'm able, I'll continue to share this message. A message of hope, a message of inspiration, and a message of encouragement for all first responders who want to make sure that they're able to develop and maintain strong situational awareness and make quality, high-risk decisions. This show's for you and dedicated to helping improve your safety and your survival, and to help you accomplish goal number 1. Always goal number 1. Go home to the ones who love you. And truthfully, there's nothing I would rather be doing. And speaking of sharing the message, hey, I'm coming to you today from Lynchburg, Virginia, where I'm in town to deliver a situational awareness program for the members of the Lynchburg Fire Department and other fire departments in the region. As you know, my focus is primarily on helping first responders to improve their high-risk decision-making. One of the questions I get asked a lot by readers and listeners is, when are you going to be in my area? I want to attend a program. Or where are you going to be next? Great questions, and the answers are really easy to find out. There's a link to my upcoming events right on the SA Matters homepage. Just click on the blue box on the right side labeled Upcoming Events Schedule. If you're interested in hosting a Situational Awareness Matter program for 2017 for your department or your association or your region or your state or your company, just contact me through the SA Matters website, the Contact Us link. We'll get something set up for you. It's really not a hard process, I promise. But don't wait. I've already got 64 programs booked for 2017. And the available dates are starting to dwindle. Well, I should mention, if you want to save some money on a program, and who doesn't want to save some money, right? Here's a tip for how you can do that at a reduced cost. I schedule many what I call companion programs. These are programs on adjoining days to other programs. So if you see I'm delivering a program within a couple hours of your department, and you think you might want to tag along as a companion, contact me. You can save as much as 20% off the program cost by being a companion to an existing program. And I do about 30 of those a year. So if you want to be a companion, reach out to me. Okay, in today's feature segment, I'm going to talk about dangerous mindsets. This is a first of a series that we're going to talk about. And today we're going to talk about the mindset of the starter, the brand new member. And stick around. When the feature segment's done, I will tell you where you can attend an upcoming Situational Awareness Matters Tour Stop event. Who knows, maybe I'm going to be coming to your state or your county soon. Okay, let's jump into our feature segment on the dangerous mindset of the starter. One of the human factors influencing situational awareness is the mindset of the first responder. Mindset is based on beliefs, biases, and self-perception. Mindset may also be influenced by organizational culture and peer pressure. In this series, I'm going to explore 9 potentially dangerous mindsets and share how they can impact emergency scene safety. Mindsets. The human brain has the potential for many mindsets, and you can have multiple mindsets depending on the situation you find yourself in. For example, some first responders I know would never allow their kids to ride in their family vehicle unrestrained, yet the same responders do not wear seatbelts while riding in an emergency vehicle during a response. Clearly, those are two different, and in some cases, conflicting mindsets held by the same person. Dangerous mindsets. The potential dangerous mindsets that I will be speaking about in this series of podcast episodes include the starter, also known as the new member, the subordinate, also known as the loyal follower, the specialist, also known as the expert or know-it-all, the superior, also known as the boss, the stubborn, also known as the defiant, the silent, also known as the shy one, the Superman or Superwoman, also known as the unstoppable, the slacker, also known as the complacent, and the synergist, also known as the like-minded. Okay, let's begin with the mindset of the newly hired first responder, the starter. Every one of us should be able to relate to this mindset. We've all been there, albeit some more recently than others. Being the new responder can be a scary ordeal. I recall how intimidated I was as I was learning how to properly don turnout gear. In fact, when I first joined, I didn't even know what I didn't know. The term sometimes given to this level of expertise is unconscious incompetence. That was my situation in 1979, and it was you in whatever year that you were the new starter. I recall not only being scared about the things that could hurt and kill me, but I was also afraid, perhaps intimidated would be the better word, by the more experienced comrades. I would listen attentively to their stories of past emergencies and their heroic actions, and I was in awe. Would I ever be that good? Could I ever be that good? I sure felt like I didn't want to disappoint them, so I kept my mouth shut and did what I was told. Scared into silence. Looking back, I recall that while remaining silent and doing what I was told, I did some pretty dumb things. I did things that were inconsistent with the training that I had received. I did unsafe things. As I was being told, "Kid, You learned it one way in the academy. Now we're going to show you how it's really done here on the street. And I was too afraid to speak up. There was too much risk in speaking up. I was sure the input of a lowly plebe about a safety concern would cause no good to come from that. I would be laughed at, or perhaps even worse, I would be put into exile. I resigned myself to the fact that I would do what I was told and hope that it wouldn't kill me. Looking back, I think it was luck that saved me on more than a few occasions. A coward among us. I did not know how to speak up. I felt that some of the things that I was being told to do were not safe, but I did not know how to tell anyone about my concern. I felt alone, like I was the only one who felt this way, like I was the only one who was scared. I did not want to be the coward among the brave heroes. I would lay awake at night rehearsing how I would tell my officer that I thought his decision to do this or to do that was not a good one. I was never able to reconcile a good outcome. For each approach I concocted, I saw a bad result. It is ironic, in my desire to avoid being a coward, I had become a coward. The day it all changed. I remember the day that it all changed, as if it were yesterday. I was having a discussion with an officer from my department over a root beer float at the local malt shop. Okay, you can call BS on that one. And he said something that floored me. He said, "One thing that keeps me up at night is the fear that I would screw something up on a fireground and no one would tell me about it." I was stunned into silence. It was like the weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders. It opened up the door for a great conversation, and I shared with him what kept me awake at night was how to speak up when things were not going well. After all, I was the new guy, the rookie, the starter. And when he said the second most shocking thing, "You have just completed a 6-month fire training program." When I started there was no training program. I learned on the job. "I never had the training that you had," he said to me. "You know things that I do not know. You can see things that I cannot see. You can help me be a better officer if you share what you know." CPR in progress. At this point in the conversation, I was sure I had stopped breathing. My heart may have even stopped beating. At a minimum, I know I was having a run of VTAC. I wanted to hug him right then and there, but since we were at the malt shop, I decided against it. Over the course of the following weeks and months, I continued to ask questions of this officer about how to approach people when I have a concern. It was a neat time in my department, and I learned one of the most important lessons I would ever need as an officer. Teach my followers how to speak up when they're concerned, and let them know I will appreciate them telling me. As with much of the advice I dispense on my podcast show and in my classes, sometimes the solutions are simple, but not easy. If you're a starter, it is a simple matter of discussing in a respectful way your concerns. Approach it from the perspective that everyone goes home is the goal. Use a parable, or for that matter, share a story that I wrote here about how to open the dialogue. Your safety is too important to risk the consequences of not speaking up. If you're an officer or in a position of influence over others, initiate the discussion. Be the one to open the dialogue about how to speak up and make sure your followers know that you genuinely appreciate them helping you by sharing their concern for safety. I do not care how much training you have or how much experience you have or how good you think you are. There is always the possibility for you to make a poor judgment based on flawed situational awareness. You'll appreciate having followers who are there to help you avoid the tragic consequences. If you've experienced or witnessed a near miss and would like to have a platform to share your lessons learned with others, please contact me by visiting the SAMatters.com website and clicking on the Contact Us link on the top of the homepage. Think about it for a minute. The lessons learned from your near miss event could save the life of another first responder. Can you imagine any better gift that you could give to the profession? If you want to share your experience, contact me. Okay, as I always do, I want to take a moment to thank the departments and organizations that have hosted some great training for their members on situational awareness. I do this to show my appreciation to those organizations who put forth the effort to organize, advertise, and fund great training experiences for their members and for others in their region. Your efforts to bring this valuable and powerful training on situational awareness and high-risk decision-making to your members and others is greatly appreciated. Recent Situational Awareness Matters tour stops included the Portsmouth Naval Yard in Kittery, Maine, the Clovis Fire Department in California, and where I am now, the Lynchburg Fire Department in Virginia. And by the time this episode airs, I will have completed day one of a 2-day leadership program I call Courage to Lead in Mountain Iron, Minnesota. If you're interested in attending an upcoming SA Matters tour stop, you can catch me on March 8th and 9th in Lutsen, Minnesota. For the third time, I will be in Lutsen. March 14th in Towson, Maryland for the Maryland Fire Rescue Institute National Fire Service Staff and Command Program. My 15th consecutive year there. Thank you, MIFRI, for that wonderful opportunity to contribute to your outstanding program. March 16th, I'll be in Beaver County, Pennsylvania for the second time. March 18th in Cranberry, Pennsylvania. That's a companion program like I talked about earlier. March 28th in Blue Spring, Missouri, doing a program for the International Association of Fire Chiefs. March 30 and 31 in Lancaster, Texas. April 1 and 2 in Richland, Washington for the Washington Hazmat Conference. April 7 in Medford, Oregon for the Oregon Fire Training Officers Association Conference. April 15th in New Richmond, Wisconsin. April 20 in Penticton, British Columbia. April 22nd in Creston, British Columbia. Yep, those are companion programs. March 24th in Michigan City, Indiana. March 25th in Indianapolis, Indiana. And May 2nd at the Fire Department of New York Incident Management Team Training. If you want to see all the locations for the upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stops, head over to the SA Matters website, click on the blue box, the blue one, on the right side of the homepage labeled Upcoming Events Schedule. The schedule is always changing, so check back often. The last time I did programs in southwest Minnesota, I stopped by and visited the sponsor of this podcast show, Midwest Fire. Midwest Fire makes amazing, all poly-bodied fire apparatus, and it's changing the industry. You seriously need to check them out at midwestfire.com. Anyhow, I got a chance to sit down and talk to a few of their employees about what separates Midwest Fire from their competitors. Let's listen into the conversation I had with engineer Tyler LeBrun about lean manufacturing and how that differentiates Midwest Fire from their competitors. So, Tyler, in a conversation that we had earlier, you mentioned the term lean process or lean manufacturing. And then when we were out on the shop floor, you were like snapping around these Japanese terms that, I guess in the lean manufacturing world means something. What is all this, voodoo magic of lean manufacturing or lean process? What does it mean, and why would a customer even care that you run a lean facility?
Well, one of the big things with lean is it's very focused on the customer. Basically, you look at it as what the customer is willing to pay for. There's waste in our process. There's waste in everybody's process that they have if they own any type of business. And what waste is defined as is anything the customer is not willing to pay for. We had a good example down there of, maybe you've been in some different shops and seen stuff just scattered around everywhere, like maybe a floor jack, like somebody used it and left it right there. Well, now the next time somebody wants to go find that floor jack, if they've got to walk around for 5 or 10 minutes, that's a waste that the customer's not willing to pay for. They don't want our guys to be down here wandering around looking for parts. They want them to be putting things onto their truck, and that stuff is value added. The walking around and stuff that you're not willing to pay for is non-value added. And that's really what drives down and brings us to be able to offer something better to the customer, that we are building a truck more efficiently, which obviously passes savings on to them. We talked about our inventory control system, Kanban, one of those fun Japanese words, that basically allows for a system to be around our parts ordering, that the operators control that they go down, they reach a minimum point, they pull a card, they do that kind of stuff, but the parts are always there for them. Not only are the parts always there, but there's not an excess amount of those parts, which costs us money to carry, which we would then obviously, no doubt, have to pass on to the customer. But by reducing all these costs, getting rid of all the waste, we're really able to better give the customer a more quality truck, faster and possibly at less cost than a competitor.
So everybody here, I assume, has to go through some training to learn how to be part of a lean process manufacturing?
Yep. So there's a couple of different ways that we've done that. There's been some guys that have been able to go out and do actual hands-on training at some seminars or that kind of stuff. We've also gone out and taken tours of some real-world class facilities in the area that we've been lucky enough to have. We also do some mentorship. That's something that I've been able to take my experience and kind of help the guys look at all that kind of stuff. But it really boils down to having a team that's willing to work together and continuously improve. And that continuous improvement is the big thing, is that we don't have a set goal in mind that we are going to be at X in 2016 and then we're never going to do anything again. Lean is really about continuous improvement and just realizing that you're constantly in the pursuit of perfection. If you're not improving, you're on the decline. So that's really some of the ideas behind that, the continuous improvement, and obviously training the employees.
Well, there you have it, folks. Continuous self-improvement and lean manufacturing. It's what separates Midwest Fire from their competitors. Check them out at MidwestFire.com. Thank you, Midwest Fire President Sarah Atchison and all your staff for your awesome commitment to improving first responder safety. I sincerely appreciate your support of my mission. If you want to send me any feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Just go to the SA Matters website and click on the Contact Us link and shoot me a message. Or you can give me a message on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. If you're not a member yet of the SA Matters community of learners, consider joining. There are over 5,000 members connected here on SA Matters, sharing ideas about how to improve situational awareness and how to make better decisions under stress. Membership is free, and when you sign up, I'll give you a special report I've created for the new members called 25 Best Practices for Improving First Responder Safety. Joining also gets you my monthly email newsletter that contains featured content from the blog and the podcast. It's the best way for us to stay in touch with each other. If you're not a member yet, head over to the SA Matters website, click on the red box, the red one, on the right side of the homepage. It says free membership. If you want to get connected with me on Twitter, you can follow at Rich Gasaway on Twitter. On LinkedIn, you can search for Rich Gasaway on LinkedIn. On YouTube, you can watch my YouTube videos at SA Matters TV on YouTube. And on Facebook, you can like the SA Matters page. You might wonder, why do I have so many platforms? A blog, a podcast, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, online academy, live events, books, videos. Because I know that not every first responder consumes their content the same way, on the same platform. And I'm trying to reach as many first responders as I can on whatever platform they prefer most. Well, that's it. Episode 150 is complete. Thank you to our awesome podcast sponsor, Midwest Fire. Thank you to all of our live event hosts. And thank you to the nearly 600 online academy students. And thank you, our listeners, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit samatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.